see how far we are from Worcester, which is about 10 miles. So we don't need to quite call them yet, but you know, now we want to start figuring out where we're going.
Okay.
There's also a tower over here somewhere, so we want to just be cognizant of that. It's a pretty tall tower.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
It's
a
right off
building?
No, it's like a TV antenna tower or something, or radio antenna tower. I don't know what it is, but it's oh yeah, you can see it just barely. See where that ski ward area is? Right in front of it. There's
okay.
a tall tower there.
Mike.
Okay. So let's just listen one more time to the ATIS.
What's the power? 293 leave our
What's information?
at Bravo TW. 29484.
Zero sky clear. Temperature 13, dew point -7, altimeter 2997. Runway 29 use, expect ILS approach. Runway 29 threshold marking right side approach. Runway standard. Use caution for increased bird activity. Runway 1129 use service. Hazardous weather information. MSC Air Tango Zulu. Coordinating on the coastal waters available on flight service frequency. What's information, Romeo? 1754 Zulu, 1290 visibility 10, sky clear. Dew point -7, altimeter 299.
Oh yeah, I see campus.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Also, what's tower again?
So there's the airport right there. You can see it.
Inbound with Romeo landing.
Up ahead over there.
There is 71 Juliet Bravo.
It's that big field.
Oh, way over there. Yeah, I see it.
There is 71 Juliet Bravo.
It's ORD, is that the symbol?
ORH.
ORH. What does that stand for?
I don't know, to be honest. It's a good question. All right, but just listen one more time. Yes.
Runway 29 use, expect ILS at visual approach. Runway 29 threshold markings
That's
right side
bumpy over
approach
here.
and not standard. Use caution for increased bird activity. Runway 1129 use out of service. Hazardous weather information. MSC Air Tango Zulu. Coordinating on the coastal waters available on flight service frequency. 011 Juliet, 118 Juliet Mike, what's the tower?
So this is a little bit of a different video than my normal ones. It's really a way for me to reflect and to learn, and a way to sort of analyze some of my previous flights and see where I made some mistakes and where I can improve and learn from. I hope that there's something here that you can take away as well, perhaps something that you might do differently, or a reminder that we might be all susceptible to similar situations. Today was an unusually busy day, a lot of different planes coming in, and a lot of chatter on the radio, which made it challenging to listen to the ATIS. That was one of the first struggles that I had. And of course, just having a conversation with my friend too. You know, you're juggling so many different things, it's hard to keep track of things.
What's information, Romeo? 1754 Zulu.
Transition overhead, heading to the east.
0118 Juliet Mike, bay requested altitude.
2000, or we can go to 2500.
0118 Juliet Mike, transition at 2,500 approved to the north of the extended center line for inbound traffic from the south.
18 Juliet Mike, clearance through at 2,500. Thanks.
Worcester Tower, Warrior 57361, about 6 miles to the northeast. Would like to be inbound into a city tour if possible.
Last time West Tower, take all sign.
Worcester Tower, Warrior 57364.
Last time West Tower, take all sign.
Worcester Tower, Warrior 57364.
Warrior 57364, what's information, Romeo, current altimeter 2996, report 3 mile right base for runway 29.
2996, and report a right base for runway 29, Warrior 57364.
Warrior 57364 is a 3 mile right base for 29.
3 mile right base for runway 29, Warrior 57364.
What's the tower? That's Resolution Lima.
So now they allowed us to enter the airspace, and they're saying, do a right base for runway 29. So let's go this way.
Unable to close traffic at this time due
And
to
so
multiple inbound.
we'll see if we, on our way back, we can take some pictures of the UMass, but it's like right here.
Yeah, I see it. Wow. Yeah.
30 Sierra Lima, A firm.
That's awesome.
And there's downtown.
Or 930.
I think your house is somewhere over there. I don't know quite yet.
I'll just parachute down.
There's Mount Monadnock up there, that big one.
Mount what?
Mount Monadnock.
I've
New
never
Hampshire.
been there. Oh, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
What's the tower? 0394 Juliet Mike.
Not familiar with that.
2394 Juliet Mike, Roger, bring change.
Wow, I think that reservoir might be bigger than Lakewood Sigaman.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is.
I had no idea how big it was.
It's definitely becoming bumpy over here.
And number 118 Juliet Mike confirmed we'll be traveling north of the runway 29 extended center line.
Coming over to the north side of the 29 center line, 8 Juliet Mike.
Copy.
Somebody flew over Shrewsbury High School.
Yeah. There's a plane coming somewhere, but we should be well past it, so we're no effect. There's a plane coming this way. I don't quite have it in sight, but
I don't see anything either.
yeah. They're like 800 feet below us.
There were 57364, same intentions.
We'd like to do a full stop and kind of just spend a few minutes at the transient parking and then take off again and do a city tour if possible.
Air 57364, copy and say mileage from the field.
Say again, please. Warrior 57364.
Warrior 57364, say mileage from the field.
We're about 4 miles northeast. We'll be entering the right base for runway 29.
Copy.
Now we're going to start descending,
Okay.
and we're going to be entering the right base.
Wow, you can see all of downtown.
Yeah. Feel free to take pictures.
Yep.
We're going to be descending fairly fast, so just keep that in mind. Your ears might pop.
I wish I brought a better camera.
Number 364, enter extended right downwind for runway 29. You'll be number 2 to field following a JetBlue aircraft 4 miles to the south.
Enter a right downwind for runway 29, Warrior 57364.
General aircraft, what's altimeter 2996?
So they're trying to sequence us around some aircraft.
Okay.
So they're telling us instead, keep going and then don't land yet. We're going to go into our right now.
Coming up on your left flank.
Negative contact at this time, Warrior 57364.
Warrior 57364, roger, make a left-hand turn into an extended left downwind for runway 29.
Say again, Tower, Warrior 57364.
Warrior 57364, disregard, continue on your current southbound heading. I'll tell you when to turn left into the downwind.
Roger, Warrior 57364.
So this is where I realized that I did totally the wrong thing and I did not follow what the tower had asked me to do. We flew in from Fitchburg along this type of path here, and we were kind of entering the northeast side of the Class Delta airspace in Worcester. And when the tower told us, or make right downwind runway 29, this is actually what they meant when they said that. You know, I was sort of trying to figure out what in my mind what it looks like, and I was debating, and I realized now that I was thinking of the wrong runway. I was thinking runway 11 and trying to make left downwind for that, and it was really confusing to me, and so I ended up sort of doing this path here where I sort of cross the approach path of 29 and then make left downwind and enter. And there was a JetBlue plane that was sort of coming in to land around that time, and the tower told us then, you know, follow that plane, and so we were number 2 for landing. It's really helpful to visualize these things, but when you're actually flying in the plane, it's a lot harder to do that. I think one thing that I would love to do in the future, and what I plan on doing now before every approach, is briefing it using the marker feature in ForeFlight, where you can draw with a pen or with your finger as well what your approach will look like. I think that's going to be a really useful way to help brief approaches and make sure we're doing the right thing.
Air 71 Juliet Bravo, taxi to Park Delta Bravo, cross 33.
Delta Bravo, cross 231 Juliet Bravo.
And 71 Juliet Bravo, cross runway 33.
331 Juliet Bravo.
Oh, see that JetBlue plane?
Yeah.
364, left-hand turn into
That's what's landing, a JetBlue plane?
Yeah.
They cut us off?
JetBlue aircraft,
1 second.
entering about a 4-mile final.
Turning left, we have the landing of traffic. In sight will be number 2, Warrior 57364.
Worcester, good afternoon, JetBlue 776. We're on about a 7-mile visual here, 29.
JetBlue 776, Worcester Tower, information of Romeo, current altimeter 2996, runway 29, wind 240 at 10, gust 18, clear to land.
Okay, runway 29, clear to land. Copy on the wind, Super 776.
JetBlue 776, current west altimeter 2996.
And we got 96, thank you, JetBlue 776.
Oh, there's Polar Park right here. Yeah.
Holy Cross is right here also.
Yeah, I think so.
Charlie, what's clearance? Stand by.
So I think we'll be, you know, at some point they'll tell us to turn behind this JetBlue plane.
Okay.
And let us know when to do that.
I have to say, downtown Worcester is kind of scattered.
Yeah. It definitely is.
There were a 118 Juliet Mike Router for exchange group.
You hear traffic off the left for JetBlue?
JetBlue, the traffic off the left is following you.
Okay, thank you.
And traffic has you in sight.
Traffic's inside JetBlue 776.
Copy.
Worcester Tower, Warrior 57364, turning left right behind to follow the JetBlue landing.
Warrior 57364, roger, runway 29, wind 250 at 13, cleared to land, and traffic is full stop, so do a little bit extra space.
Roger, we'll give a little bit extra space. Clear to land runway 29, Warrior 57364. So he's saying just, or she's saying just wait a little bit before we land behind them.
Sounds good. More pictures.
Yeah.
And it's Lake Park.
Yeah.
I run there.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm going to turn to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. And you'll see UMass kind of right below us.
Yep. There's the bridge.
And you might be able to see your house. I don't know exactly where.
It's right below us.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good view. It's cool. Didn't go to class today. Yeah, we're definitely right above us. I know exactly where we are.
Yeah.
Those are the tracks.
Nice. So we're basically on just a long final for this runway here.
Yeah. That's
Straight
Green
ahead.
Hill Park over there.
Yeah. You know your Worcester geography really well.
Yeah. I've been here too long.
Yeah. It's rubbing off on you.
Yep. Ooh, that looks ugly. Buildings here.
No.
Is that a prison?
Not sure.
St. Vincent. Yeah.
Alright, sorry, I'm just gonna... How far are we off of this? About 3-mile final.
JetBlue 776, right turn golf. Taxi to park, 11 Delta Bravo cross 33. Alright, right turn golf, 11 Delta Bravo cross 23, JetBlue 776.
Worcester Tower, Warrior 57364, 3-mile final, runway 29.
JetBlue 776, hold short, runway 29. We're going to hold short 29, JetBlue 776. 4364, copy runway 29, wind 250 clear for the option.
Clear for the option, runway 29, Warrior 57364.
And 57364, confirm you're looking for a full stop taxi back.
We'd like to do a full stop, and if we can stop at that transient parking, that'll be better. Thanks, Warrior 57364.
4364, roger.
There's WPI.
Yeah. And I think we're going to pass Worcester State at some point, too, here.
Ah, I've never seen it. Oh, is it this
It's
right here?
It's a
The
big
football-
circular building.
Yeah, I see it.
That's their, like, cafeteria or sports stadium. I can't remember what it is.
Lancers, right?
I don't know, actually.
That's what the football field does.
Must be then.
Worcester Tower, King Air 17, Charlie Echo, with you on left base for visual 29er traffic inside on final.
Air 17 Charlie Echo, what's the tower? Copy information to now current altimeter 2997, runway 29, wind 260 at 9, cleared to land.
So this area right before this hill, there's always a lot of turbulence and stuff. So
Looking Air 17 Charlie Echo, advise establishing on final.
Silco, 7 Charlie Echo.
generally it's better to be high over here, I found, because we have plenty of runway.
Yeah. Experienced pilot.
Archer 364, turn right taxiway Delta, taxi to the ramp via Delta, Bravo. Cross runway 33 via Delta, remain this frequency.
Right on Delta, taxi to the ramp via Delta Bravo and remain on this frequency, Warrior 57364, thanks. Alright.
This airport is empty.
Yeah.
I can't believe they
Well,
land
there's a JetBlue plane
I know.
straight up
I can't
ahead,
believe they
but
land JetBlue and like big airplanes over here.
Yeah.
But this runway's much bigger than the one at Fitchburg.
Oh yeah, for sure.
like it,
Yeah.
7 Charlie Echo, establish on final center.
Kilo 17 Charlie Echo, roger.
That JetBlue is waiting for us to get off before it can come back. So we've been holding them up.
Flight's probably already delayed.
Well, no, they just landed. They want to go home.
Oh.
That was the plane that landed right before us.
Ah, I see.
And then they're also waiting for this small plane, I think. Okay, sorry, do you mind if I just take a look at this? Thank you.
The plane's landing.
Yeah.
Another big one.
She told us enter the right downwind, and that would mean making a left turn. And so for me, when I was hearing all these instructions and trying to figure out where I'm going and flying the plane at the same time, it's really hard to juggle all of this in your head without being able to visualize it easily. I think the biggest factor, at least in my opinion, is that our training as pilots hammers home the idea of a standard left-hand pattern. So in all of the mix of all doing this, I start becoming confused. I've just defaulted back to that habit of making left traffic and making left turns. And so as a result, I was like really confused. Where am I supposed to go? How am I supposed to enter the traffic pattern? And I probably should have asked for clarification, but it was more so an issue of me not able to visualize how to follow the instructions of the ATC. One thing that I learned from this flight is that I definitely want to ensure that I understand the instructions fully, and I think I should probably draw it out on the iPad on ForeFlight using the drawing feature. That way, any approach I can make sure is briefed appropriately.